Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the calibrations classroom here. So, one of the things that I, speaking for myself, typically do as a therapist after the first session, so the first session, if you visited our blog site, is typically what's known as the DA session or diagnostic assessment session. It unfortunately is not the typical counseling session, especially what people consider when they want to go to counseling. The first session is a lot of us asking all the questions just to get a good baseline for how we can get started, things of that nature. But after that's been done, the second session, I typically, in my therapeutic style, start off with something called coping strategies. And why I do this is because therapy is typically really challenging for people. It can be very tough and very just hard to get through. So what I like to do is make sure my clients are well prepared for if we do go deep in the session, things that they can do to kind of help ground them, to help kind of get them back to reality, get them back to what we often say in therapy is the here and now. So I wanted to kind of go through a quick one with you of just kind of like the coping skills 101 and just to give everybody some education about what they are not. So we'll kind of go through these together. So we don't do these that often. I'm not a big presenter. We want to focus a lot more on like reels and stuff like that. But hey, it's a good start. So obviously the disclaimer that you see in all of our videos, all of our things, this is not meant to be a replacement for therapy. This is not meant to be free therapy, any of that stuff. It's really just meant to be an educational video. Highly encourage you, if you are not done so already, seek out your own therapist. It's obviously, I went into this profession for a reason. I do believe it's very helpful. If you don't know where to get started, couple of links on here for you. So therapist.com or psychologytoday.com. And of course, if you're in Ohio, shameless self-plug here, calibrationscc.com. We'll be happy to get you on our schedules if it's available. All right, starting out with a great quote real quick. Deep breathing is our nervous system's love language. Absolutely adore that. Absolutely love that. Future projects, I would love to do one on like the five love languages. It's a very popular thing within couples and just kind of good to know about yourself. All right, so a quick little agenda here. Again, you're thinking like, oh my God, this is actually a big presentation. It's really not. There's not a lot written here. I just kind of want to fly through this, so hopefully it's going to be less than 10 minutes here. So here's a little agenda so you can kind of get a sneak peek here. All right, what are coping strategies or coping mechanisms, things of that nature, all kind of interchangeable in what they are. So as it says right here, coping strategies are often defined as things, thoughts, or behaviors you might do in the moment to deal with stressful situations. So again, anxiety, depression, those things are really high in the moment. Might be able to do something of this nature to kind of help redirect yourself to the here and now and kind of get you more present in the moment. So that's kind of what roughly they are. So what they are not, I think, is a really big important thing. And I can't remember what counselor or what therapist was talking about on social media, but if I remember, I'll plug it here for sure. But thinking about like therapy and things of that nature, unfortunately, a lot of therapists and therapy in general can't fix the world. There's a lot of underlying issues that are a sociological issue or a world issue that can't be fixed. Coping strategies, they talk a lot about coping strategies and self-care and stuff like that. That's not going to fix everything, right? But it's going to hopefully provide a little bit of assistance and a little bit more ability to get yourself through an intense urge or intense feeling or emotion of anxiety and things of that nature. But again, this is a great list. So it doesn't, coping skills are not, and coping strategies are not going to fix the underlying issue. They're not excuses for poor behavior. Like, oh, I just needed to, I don't know, deal with my anxiety, so I'm going to lash out irrationally. No, right? They're not permanent solutions. There is a line where coping skills can actually be pretty damaging. And I think that's something that I talk a lot about with my clients and that I'd love to talk about more here. They're not the fix all. All right. Starting off with the positive stuff, starting off with the more good stuff. So Positive coping skills. First one is relaxation techniques. This is probably the biggest one you talk about in therapy. You talk about deep breathing exercises, right? The ability that in the moment you sit down and right, those really deep, long breaths that we often don't take. In our culture, it's very unfortunate that we do a lot of that little shallow breathing. That's not going to be helpful. It's the deep ones you have to. I oftentimes tell my clients you can't see me in the little image down there. I have my clients put their hand over their chest and on their belly, and when they breathe, a good deep breath, you're going to feel both your hands move. You'll see them both extend a little bit. Meditation, another really great relaxation technique that is often utilized and a lot of people do love. Um, the lovely individual pictured here, yoga, tai chi, things of that nature can be really great. Leading into the next one, exercise, going for a walk, doing one of these exercising platforms that involve deep breathing, going to the gym, running, any of that stuff, all of them are great and going to be very useful in a moment of extreme emotion. Social support, talk to your family and friends, having just people around. And sometimes it's not even necessarily talking to people. Sometimes you just need somebody there. I would like to believe that, at least for me, I have that friend that if I needed to talk to them about something serious, I could. But they're also just a great friend just to be there in the moment and just to talk about nothing. That could be a really good coping strategy. Because sometimes, like, we need to get through that intense wave of emotion first before we can really go back and deal with what to deal with what the main issue was that brought up that strong wave. Healthy eating. A lot of people don't think about this or don't talk about this. Is like you'll hear a lot of people talk about biopsychosocial support and a lot of different things that kind of go into what mental health is in counseling. That's a big one, right? If you're just eating junk food all the time, your body's going to get clumped up and not going to be the best. So are you actually putting in good food into your body and things of that nature? Now, obviously, we here at Calibrations, at least at this time, don't have a registered dietitian on the team. Definitely a future goal for us. We would love to have that, but we don't. We don't have a dietitian right now on the team. So what we would love for you to do is if you're interested in that, go research, go talk to somebody, go talk to a dietitian about something like that and what that can do for you. There are a lot of other positive coping skills that are out there. This is just 4 of them that I put down here. We would love to hear what you think and think about other ideas with you together if you're by chance you become a client of ours. But talk to your therapist about this, whoever you decide to go see. What are going to be some good healthy coping skills? Because on the other side of that, talking about the negative ones, they're all pretty obvious. Drugs and alcohol, overeating, social withdrawal, sleeping too much, too little. These are not good. And like the sleeping one in particular, there is a fine line of like, yeah, your body needs rest, and that's a great thing. We want to allow your body to rest, but too much is going to be a bad thing. So we don't want to do that. Overeating is mine. I always throw myself under the bus on that. Like there are plenty of times in my life that I'm like, this pint of ice cream is the solution to my issues. It never is. It never goes that way. I should have learned that by now, but I haven't. But that is a coping skill that I go to. And unfortunately, for our society, for at least United States culture, it's been really well documented that how do we celebrate things? Oh yeah, we'll go get something to eat, go get a drink. Oh, we're really sad. What do we do? Go get something to eat, go get something to drink. Right? Like these are 2 of those right there that we put in as a coping skill. That's a societal like coping skill that we do. It's not. And we need to end that stigma and that dynamic that's talking about. So yeah, that's again, really quick video. We just wanted to kind of go through what coping skills are, what they are. And again, there's so much more. I encourage you, please visit our website, www.calibrationscc.com. We talk a lot about this stuff. Look at our other videos and other things like that. Ask questions, have a good dialogue. What are some healthy coping strategies you do? And again, I will do a separate video or a reel or something of that nature talking about how coping strategies can evolve from being unhealthy, or sorry, healthy to unhealthy. There is a fine line that we depend on them too much, they become a crush, they become a drug. Not meant to do that. It's not meant to be that for at all. It's supposed to help us ride that emotional wave, the proverbial emotional wave, as it were, and get us through that moment. Then we can kind of go back and hopefully with your therapist really work on the underlying details of what's happening. And there are a lot of other things of like involving self-care and all within the same umbrella that, again, visit our website, visit our blog. Hopefully we'll have some more information, but hopefully you like this. We would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Do you have coping skills that you go to? Do you have positive ones? What's your go-to guilty pleasure negative one? I think it's important to call that stuff out, right? So the more we can call it out, the more we're unlikely to go to it later. So hopefully this is educational. Hopefully this clarified some things. Again, we highly encourage you, if you are not seeing a therapist, go to therapist.com or psychologyday.com and find one near you that you can talk to and see. Again, mental health and just counseling in general can be so, so beneficial. And hopefully you find somebody that's right for you and can talk to them. Thanks a lot for letting me talk your ear off. Talk to you all later.